In the days of the prophet Elijah, the land of Israel was dry, not a single drop of rain for years. Crops withered, rivers turned to dust, and famine swept through the land. People began to lose hope, wondering if God had forgotten them. But God had not forgotten. He was about to show his power through one of the most unlikely people, a poor widow in a small town called Zarephath. Elijah, tired and hungry after months of hiding near a dried-up brook, heard the voice of the Lord. "Go to Zarephath in Sidon and stay there. I have commanded a widow to supply you with food." When Elijah arrived at the town gate, he saw her, a weary woman gathering sticks. Her clothes were worn, her face marked with worry. Elijah called out to her, "Please bring me a little water in a jar so I may drink." As she turned to fetch it, he added, "And bring me, please, a piece of bread." The widow stopped. Her voice trembled as she replied, "As surely as the Lord your God lives, I have no bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I'm gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." Her words were heavy with despair. It was her last meal. But Elijah, standing firm in faith, said something that changed everything. "Do not be afraid. Go home and do as you have said. But first make a small loaf for me, and then something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, the jar of flour will not be used up and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain on the land." It was a test of faith to give when you have almost nothing. But somehow, something stirred inside the widow's heart. She chose to trust the word of God through his prophet. She went home, made the bread, and gave Elijah his portion first. And from that very moment, the miracle began. Each morning, she checked the jar, and there was flour. Each day, she poured the jug, and oil flowed again. Day after day, week after week, the same small amount that should have run out never did. God turned her little into enough. Through that season of famine, while others went hungry, the widow's home never lacked. God provided for her, her son, and his servant Elijah, just as he promised. But the story didn't end there. One day her son fell sick, so sick that he stopped breathing. Her heart broke. In her pain, she cried to Elijah, thinking God was punishing her. But Elijah took the boy to his room, stretched himself over the child, and prayed earnestly. "O Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him." And God heard Elijah's cry. Life returned to the child. Another miracle born from the same faith that had once made a jar overflow. Through this story, God teaches us something timeless. When you give what little you have in faith, he multiplies it beyond measure. His provision never fails. You might not have much, maybe just a handful of flour and a little oil, but when your heart trusts him, that's more than enough for a miracle. So, if you're in a dry season, remember, God's promises don't depend on what's in your hands. They depend on his word, and his word never runs dry.